Local, trusted. This is News 3 at 6 on KBTX.
As storms passed through the Brazos Valley, reports of damage started to come in. These are some of the many photos you submitted. Here you can see lots of wind damage that was reported in BCS, but especially in Burleson County. We also had some power outages around the area as well. In fact, the National Weather Service has determined that there was an EF1 tornado that touched down in Burleson County yesterday. Erica Page joined us with a look at the weekend weather's been pretty wild.
Yeah, it has been. And unfortunately last night, the line of storms just came together just right with all the ingredients that were sitting across the atmosphere. So let's take a look at this as we kind of head through the past couple of hours. We had the tornado watch that was issued across our northern counties earlier yesterday. Then the severe thunderstorm watch was issued for Lee County. And it was as we headed into the late afternoon, we started to see more of those severe thunderstorm warnings popping up, and several tornado warnings popping up as well north of the area. Then as that line continued to push on through, we had that tornado warning that was issued for Burleson County, because along that line, it's very common to see a little bit of those spin-ups trying to develop. We saw that happen. We saw this line eventually push off towards the east, creating another tornado warning down towards Montgomery County. But the only confirmed tornado that we have so far is the EF1 tornado that was in Burleson County. Peak winds measured at about 100 miles per hour. Again, it was only on the ground for about a minute, but it did unfortunately sustain quite a bit of damage for parts of the area. We'll continue to get a look at that weekend forecast coming up here in just a few minutes.
Thank you very much, Erica. A firefighter and police officer were killed while working the scene of a crash this morning in Lubbock, according to officials. The first responders were at a scene of two separate accidents on Interstate 27 around 8:30 a.m. when a vehicle traveling southbound crossed into the median and hit two Lubbock firefighters and one Lubbock police officer. The officer died at the scene while a firefighter died at a local hospital. Another firefighter is in critical condition. Bryan police are asking for help identifying a second suspect in a burglary a few months ago. Investigators say just after 2 a.m. on October 14th, two people burglarized a coin-operated machine at an apartment complex on the 2000 block of Casimir Plaza in Bryan. So far, 18-year-old Devin Johnson has been arrested. Police say he is the man in the maroon in the video and that they are looking for more information about the person wearing the gray hoodie in that video. Anyone with information is encouraged to call Bryan Police or Brazos County Crime Stoppers. Governor Greg Abbott has officially declared January Human Trafficking Prevention Month and today as National Human Trafficking Awareness Day. In the Brazos Valley, there are a couple of organizations who work to prevent this type of crime year-round. A study conducted by the University of Texas found that there were more than 300,000 victims of human trafficking in the state. The Sexual Assault Resource Center and Unbound BCS says they are focusing on educating the public about warning signs. They also say that the rise in social media is making it easier for people to fall victim to human trafficking.
In our location, being a transient place, being between the Texas Triangle, and so education in all realms of our community, from business to schools to just local education to the general public, is severely important.
Today is Wear Blue Day to help spread awareness about human trafficking. The Sexual Assault Resource Center is set to host a forum on human trafficking. Local professionals, including law enforcement officers, the district attorney's office, and medical experts will be part of the discussion to help community members learn more about this issue. It's scheduled for Monday, January 20th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Connecting Point Church and College Station. It's free and open to the public. The Museum of the American GI hosted its Ride to the Brazos event today, bringing history to life. Guests got the chance to ride an authentic 2.5-ton World War II truck from the museum all the way to Washington on the Brazos State Historic Site. The day was also filled with a family-style barbecue and the chance to visit an important historical site in Texas history. Organizers say it's a great way for families to explore the past.
What we want to do is give people an immersion experience. We want them to actually experience what our military has experienced, whether it was from World War I with our events where we can go through our trenches, or if it's World War II from riding in a tank, riding in a truck behind us.
The museum is hosting another event next weekend. More information on that can be found with this story at KBTX.com. Iran says it shot down a Ukrainian airline passenger jet over Tehran by mistake, citing human error. That's a turnaround from Tehran's denial of responsibility for several days. Kenneth Craig has more.
Shooting down a civilian aircraft is horrific. Iran must take full responsibility.
Iran now says its military accidentally shot down a passenger plane, killing all 176 people on board. On Saturday, Iran blamed human error after denying any responsibility for days. 57 Canadians died in the Ukrainian Airlines disaster, which happened minutes after takeoff from Tehran. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is demanding answers.
We need full clarity on how such a horrific tragedy could have occurred.
In Tehran, protesters expressed anger about the downed plane, which crashed within hours of Iranian missile attacks on Iraqi air bases housing U.S. troops. That was in response to the U.S. drone strike that killed top Iranian general Qasem Soleimani. In an interview, President Trump said imminent threats prompted the strike.
We will tell you that probably it was going to be the embassy in Baghdad. I can reveal that I believe it would have been 4 embassies.
That detail contrasted with earlier comments from the Secretary of State.
We don't know precisely when, and we don't know precisely where, but it was real.
You were mistaken when you said you didn't know precisely when and you didn't know precisely where.
Completely true. Those are completely consistent thoughts. I don't know exactly which minute. We don't know exactly which day it would have been executed, but it was very clear.
Last week, the House approved a resolution aimed at limiting President Trump's ability to take further military action against Iran. A similar measure has been introduced in the Senate. Kenneth Craig, CBS News.
Still ahead, Erica Page has your weekend forecast coming up. Plus, new technology is helping farmers increase crop yields and hopefully their bottom line. From the Ground Up is up after the break.
It's all about people, it's all about home. Working together, loving our own. From country roads to our city streets, it's the neighbors we love and the new ones we meet. KBTX, the very best we can give. We're here where you need us, here where you live, see life the way that you choose. Oh, yeah. News 3, this is your news. KBTX, it's the time that we share. It's for you, it's for me. People who care, Brazos Valley, this is for you. News 3, this is your news.
You're watching News 3 at 6 on KBTX.
Precision agriculture allows farmers to use new technologies to help them increase crop yields and hopefully profitability. Shel Winkley has more in this week's From the Ground Up.
We have this one particular little farm here that has mixed land. One end is sandy and the other end is heavy land, and in between there's a little bit of mix in there, so we thought that would be a real good area to try this variable rate application of fertilizer.
Walter Vidoc farms in Burleson County.
You never know what and how much fertilizer to put on the place because soil tests come back so varied on the place, so we thought it'd be a good place to try it, and we are going to try it. And they took the soil samples here a few weeks ago, and they came back and we discussed how we need to do it and what we need to do.
Every trip made across the field costs money.
We'll probably have to make 2 trips across the field with the fertilizer truck to get out the amount of phosphate and potash that is required for the particular field. And then we have to add some lime to it, which we have to do, and not on the whole field, just part of it required lime. So we did that in a separate operation.
The hope is that he'll save money in some parts of the field while he's spending more in other parts.
In some areas where you were overapplying a fertilizer, now you can use that to compensate for the places that require more. And then when you average it out, it won't cost you as much as you think it might.
And even with perfect fertility, to make a good uniform field, Vidoc needs favorable weather.
We're hoping it'll work out, and we're going to try it. And if it works good here, we'll try it more.
I'm Shel Winkley, looking at Central Texas agriculture from the ground up.
From the Ground Up is sponsored by Producers Cooperative, proudly serving agriculture since 1943.
From a big night of storms last night to a pretty quiet Saturday, we are transitioning to more of some of those ups and downs as we head into the upcoming week. We'll get you a full look at that pinpoint forecast right after the break.
News 3 weather from the Pinpoint Forecast team is sponsored by First Financial Bank. Local bankers putting you first. And now, local weather.
It was quite an active night here across the Brazos Valley. Many of us not only getting in on some of that big wind that pushed on through, but also some much needed rain across the area. Remember, we've had severe drought started to make its way back as we headed into the beginning parts of January. So this ½ inch to about an inch of rainfall totals at some of our official recording stations across the area was definitely welcome. We could have just used a little bit less of that wind damage. As far as rainfall totals go sent in from weather watchers, most folks came in pretty much on par between that ½ inch to about just a little bit over an inch of rain, especially here in Bryan and in the surrounding areas. So if you've got any of those rainfall totals, please feel free to send them in, as well as any more of those pictures now that daylight has come through for your Saturday. As far as the rain and storms go, most of us stay relatively quiet, especially as we head into your Sunday. Sunday's going to be another one of those beautiful days here across the Brazos Valley. But by next week, we're working in a daily chance for rain. We've got a couple weather makers starting to work their way in. You'll notice between about a 20 to 30% chance for rain starts us off Monday into your Tuesday. Then we get our next weather maker to roll on through, and right now still working out some of the details on that, but I do think it does bring a better push of rain back into the Brazos Valley as we look ahead towards Thursday. Then by Friday, the rain chance starts to dip a bit more, but there's another cold front that comes on in, bringing in another bout of some of those gusty winds that are likely going to be accompanying another big swing in your temperatures. So we've got a lot to track here over the next several days. Right now, and this is very early and just a broad brush of a look of what we could see, but anywhere from about a ½ inch to an inch and a half does look possible over the next 7 days, according to the Weather Prediction Center. Again, it's with both of those cold fronts kind of helping to push in a little bit more of those better dynamics to bring in some of that rain. But for now, it's an area of low pressure that brought us all that wind and rain sitting now up towards the Great Lakes region, storms pushing across the southeast, and high pressure has started to set in across the Lone Star State. So that means we have hardly any cloud cover on hand and plenty of that sunshine as we finished out your Saturday. So let's walk you through the rest of your pinpoint forecast. This will go through about Tuesday morning. You'll see tomorrow it looks beautiful. May have a few of those clouds trying to work back in as we get towards the later part of the day, but overall it's going to be a great finish up towards the weekend. Then as we start into the early part of the week, I do think we stay dry, but the cloud cover starts to work back in, so it will likely be a pretty cloudy week from start to finish. Notice though some of those showers developing late Monday morning and then into the afternoon hours, pushing in from south to north. We'll see that return of southerly winds as we head in towards tomorrow, keeping them with us throughout the day Monday as well as into your Tuesday, helping to build a little bit more of that moisture back in across the Brazos Valley to continue to fuel those daily chances for rain as we head into your Tuesday. Again, it won't necessarily be a guaranteed rain chance for everybody each and every day, but folks across the Brazos Valley will have that chance of picking up on some of that much needed liquid water. Sun just now going down. You can see a little bit of that glow left on the horizon, but it is a lot chillier than where we were this time yesterday. Most of us sitting into the mid 40s. We've got winds back out of the north, and you'll see most of us already starting to see those 30s trying to work back in. Keep in mind a little bit of that frost and a freeze is certainly not out of the question for all of us as we head into the overnight hours tonight. Temperatures officially here in town, I think, make it into the mid 30s, but I think for a lot of us it'll be the low 30s. So if you've got any of those tender plants, do make sure to cover them, bring them inside for the night, and then we are looking at a big warm up as we kind of head towards the rest of the week.
Lots of wicked weather and then snow up in North Texas today, so strange weather around the state.
It is.
Thank you very much, Erica. Well, coming up next in sports, the Aggie men's basketball team heating up in Nashville. Plus, the Rudder Lady Rangers run away with a big win over Brenham.
Sports is sponsored by Allen Honda, corner of Southwest Parkway and Highway 6. Allen's got your Honda. From the KBTX Sports Center, News 3 Sports starts now.
The Aggie men's basketball team was back on the road today facing Vanderbilt. A&M coming off their first SEC victory in the Buzz Williams era against Ole Miss. Now they're looking to make it 2 in a row. The Aggies also coming in today's matchup having won 3 in a row over the Commodores. Aggies haven't been successful shooting the ball this season, but Andre Gordon buries the long three-pointer. Gordon had a game-high 15 points to end the half. Savion Flagg lobs it up to Josh Nebo. Not exactly how they drew it up. The ball goes in, and the Aggies up 36-20 at the break. Second half off the inbounds, Quentin Jackson comes flying in for the one-handed jam. Jackson had 9 points off the bench, and J.J. Chandler on the miss, but Nebo is there to finish with authority. The Aggies have their biggest lead of the season, 46-24, and to cap off a 20-3 run, Mark French nails a triple, earning his scholarship he got earlier this week, and A&M with their most lopsided win of the season, 69-50 over Vandy. Sam Houston State basketball on the road at Central Arkansas. The Bearcats fall 89-82. They're now 4-2 at conference play. They'll be on the road at Lamar on Wednesday, and the Bearcat women came away with a 72-54 blowout victory. They're now 6-0 in conference play for the first time in school history. They'll be back in Huntsville to host Lamar on Wednesday. Rudder Lady Rangers hosting Brenham this afternoon after weather postponed them yesterday. Start things off in the first. Rudder on the fast break and Brianna Turner to Asani McGee for the layup. The Rangers had a 13-4 lead early on. Brenham trying to chip away at Rudder's lead. Maya McNitty zigs and zags her way through the defenders to the basket, makes it 14-6. Rudder had control the whole way through. Turner no-look pass to DeAndre Young underneath for two, makes it 24-13 in the second. Young with 17 points. Rangers had a 22-point lead at the half, and they cruise to a 70-36 victory. The Rudder boys traveled to Brenham and picked up the 63-58 road victory. Anthony Walton for the Cubs led all scorers with 24. The Rangers had a balanced scoring attack led by Grayson Adams with 17 and Carlos Moreno with 14. Rudder will be back in action Tuesday when they host College Station. Brenham hosts Magnolia Tuesday. The Houston Texans are back in the divisional round of the playoffs for the first time since the 2016 season. The AFC South champs will play Kansas City on the road tomorrow afternoon. Texans already beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium earlier this season. Head coach Bill O'Brien says he's familiar with this Kansas City team, and it's going to be a tough battle on the road.
The respect that I have for Andy Reid, Andy and I are friends, and I've learned a lot from Andy. At the meetings, the combine, and at the owners' meeting, we meet a lot with a group of coaches, and he's a great football coach. He's got a great football team, and we're gonna have a great week here at practice, and we're gonna go up there and try to do as good as we can do on each and every play. But we know that it's a very tough game and a tough environment, but we're excited about it.
Kickoff between the Texans and Chiefs is scheduled for 2 o'clock tomorrow right here on KBTX. And speaking of the NFL playoffs, also on KBTX tonight, Titans are taking on the Ravens, and that's led by Aggie quarterback Ryan Tannehill. So it should be fun to watch him.
I'll be excited to see him, and big day tomorrow for the Texans to see how they can do. It'll be great. Good one for them. Thanks for Tyler. Let's take a live look outside. We'll be right back after this break.
A light freeze to a little bit of frost is likely what you're going to be waking up to on your Sunday morning. It will be chilly, but we will warm up quickly. I think we'll have a lot of sunshine throughout most of the day. A few clouds trying to work back in by the afternoon. Highs expected to sit into the low to mid 60s, and we only go up from there. By Wednesday, most of us looking to return back to the mid and upper 70s. Another spring-like pattern sets up for the second half of this week as we watch for more rain and storms to work on through with a couple cold fronts. And then by next weekend, looks like we may get that taste of January trying to work back into the Brazos Valley.
Stay tuned. Lots of changes coming up.
Lots
Thanks,
of changes.
Erica. That's our report for now. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you tonight here at 10 o'clock.